Hi guys, so Boris Johnson was in Parliament on Wednesday morning responding to questions in a debate on his Brexit deal. Now, MPs and all parties were challenging him, including members of his own party, were challenging him on this Brexit debate for this bill. Now, of course, Boris Johnson didn't respond to questions. Well, he didn't answer questions. He responded to questions with lies, with redirection, with bluster, pontification, and grandstanding. And there are numerous examples of this, but I think this one particular exchange between him and the Labour MP was probably the best example of Boris Johnson ignoring the question.
I give way with pleasure to the Honourable Gentleman who's been rising up and down, Mr Speaker, many, many times.
Thank you very much, but many honourable members will be facing a dire dilemma because they will feel that our country has been sold short. On the one hand, we have the Prime Minister's thin, terrible, burnt oven-ready deal, and on the other hand, we face the prospect of an even more damaging and destructive no-deal Brexit. So can the Prime Minister advise, given that services account for almost 80% of our economy, why is there so little for that sector within his deal? And in particular, why couldn't he negotiate equivalence and passporting rights for the all-important financial services sector?
Now, the question was about the services sector. And I've raised this point before. This deal does not cover the service sector. And as he has rightly said, it represents about 80% of the UK economy. Now, not all services are exported. I want to clarify that point. But it is hugely important. It's much more important than fishing. Fishing represents almost nothing in comparison to the financial services sector. Now, let's hear what Boris Johnson has to say.
Well, Mr Speaker, it wasn't quite clear from that intervention which way the Labour Party is going to go on.
See, he talks about something that's irrelevant.
Yes, but whether he's going to go with his right honourable friend, the leader of the Labour Party, and vote for the deal, or whether he's going to join other members of the Labour Party and continue to dither and delay, we on these benches are going to get on, and we will be free of the strictures of the Common Agricultural Policy.
The question was about services, Boris. Did you not hear it?
I will be able to conserve our landscapes and support our farmers exactly as we...
He's talking about services. He was talking about the financial services sector, not farmers.
...we choose. And on Friday, now coming to a point that's already been raised several times, and I will repeat it, Mr Speaker, because it's a wonderful point. For the first time in 50 years, on Friday, the UK will once again be recognised as an independent coastal state.
Once again, the UK is recognised as an independent sovereign state or coastal state. It has always been recognised as an independent sovereign state. Boris Johnson is trying to sell people something they already have. Boris Johnson is the type of person who turn up at your house and say, "Oh, you have a nice car out there. Would you like to buy it?" But that is my car. Yeah, I'll do you a good deal on it. You know, just pay me this amount of money and it'll be yours. And you say, yeah, but I already have it. That's basically what Boris Johnson has been trying to do all along. Now, unfortunately, some people don't understand that, but he's continually trying to sell them this. But this is distraction. The question was about services.
Regaining control of our waters, righting the wrong that was done by the common fisheries policy throughout our EU membership. And of course, I've always recognised, Mr Speaker, I've answered the point quite a lot from you guys. I'll give way to my honourable friend.
Give way to my honourable friend, somebody who's going to just kiss my arse. That's what he wants to do. The services sector has been ignored. Now, what's probably going to happen is next year, Boris Johnson will have to go back to the European Union. I don't know who will go with him or who will go on his behalf. But the UK will have to go back to the European Union and they'll have to negotiate an agreement on trade in services. You can't get away from that. But this is just another example of Boris Johnson ignoring the question. And this is an important question. This is I'm sorry, but this is much more important than fishing or than farming even, because this is much more important to the UK economy. I know it's not as sexy as fishing. It's not as traditional as farming. But in regards to the UK Exchequer, it's much more important. To paying taxes, it's much more important. To raising finance for services, essential services for UK citizens, it's much more important. And it's been completely ignored. And how Boris Johnson and the Brexiteers have gotten away with that remains to be seen. But this is just one example of an exchange. As I said before, the debate was theatre. It was an absolute binfire. Boris Johnson was not held to account. And it's likely that he knows that he doesn't really have to perform here, because this is basically a formality. The deal is going to pass through Parliament. It's not going to be stopped. Some parties are going to vote against it. Some MPs are going to vote against it. But at the end of the day, it's going to pass, and Boris Johnson got his deal. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you thought about this exchange. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?